Welcome and thank you so much for joining us today on another segment of Real Diva Talk TV. We are going to be bringing it to you live and, as always, transparent and real, ladies and gentlemen, because now, as you all know, we're not just the Diva Zone magazine anymore. We are the Diva Zone magazine and the Swagger Zone magazine, because we heard our brothers and we are delighted to accommodate you as always. So today we're going to be delving into some real girl talk. The topic that we're going to be broaching is, why do we as women ignore the signs? Why do we as people ignore the signs? But obviously today we just have sisters on the set, so we're talking from a woman's perspective. I'm Nigeria Brooks, your host. If you want to know more about the magazine, go to www.divazonmagazine.com or give us a call, 866-350-1150. And with that said, I am delighted to introduce my sister, my friend. She is also a wonderful writer for the magazine in terms of relationships. Miss Erica Parks, how are you, Erica?
I am wonderful.
I'm so happy that you're here.
I am too.
And
I am too.
You know, okay, Erica, let's just get right into it. You have Breakthrough as your organization through which you, deal with women's issues and coach people through life situations. Talk to me. Why do we ignore the signs?
Because it's easier.
Okay. Exactly. I'll buy that.
Just like with anything else, it is easier to ignore the signs that are there, because if you ignore the signs, that means you don't have to deal with what is in front of you. And if you think about it, it's kind of like a survivor mentality, especially for those of us, most of us have been hurt. Most of us have been hurt before. And so when the survivor mode kicks in, that's when the signs get ignored.
Okay.
Now, another part of that too, and this is me speaking from my own personal experience, is sometimes we are living in what I call living unconsciously. So that means going through the motions, doing things as you normally do, and not truly being connected and knowing really who you are. Because when I ask you the question, who are you? Most people say what they do.
What they do, exactly. That's how they define themselves, by what they do.
Exactly.
You're right.
Exactly.
You're right.
But when you ask the question, who are you? Can you answer that question? Can you really go deep and do some self-awareness and say, well, okay, actually, this is who I am. And that takes processing. That takes having the dedicated time to yourself.
Absolutely. And most of us, as we all know, ladies, we love you, we love ourselves, we love our brothers, but what is the fear of us? We need to be attached. We need to be involved. We need to be in relationships, or we need to just be in someone's company. And it's wonderful to be affirmed. It's even further wonderful to be comforted and to know that you're not walking this life alone. But, when you go in for an operation, I use this analogy, you're on that table alone because there's some work that needs to be done on you. And when God is trying to get our attention to do some work on us, we just refuse to allow him to, engage us in the process, because he knows the plan, but we are forfeiting the plan because we want all of these people around. It's like, we need to surrender to the potter's will and let God do the work. And then in knowing yourself, what I learned from personal experience is that I learned myself by allowing God to show me what his plan was for my life. I needed for him to define me. Most of us don't start off on a path where God is defining us. We allow people, culture, everything else other than the one who formed us and shaped us and knew us before we were in our mother's wombs to define us. So then most of the time that we're backtracking and going through life, like you said, unconsciously, we're going through a process of denial, because it's scary when you really start to notice yourself for really who you are, who you have become, and what you need to jettison so that you can get back to.
Exactly, exactly. And let it be known that we all desire to be acknowledged, to be loved, to be appreciated. That's what gives us life.
Right.
But the difference is when you, like you said, attach to that, and you're attaching to it and running to whether it be all of your different activities that you're running to, whether it be involved in church from sun up to sundown. Sometimes we can get so involved, we're running from ourselves.
Right.
We're running from ourselves.
Exactly.
We're keeping busy, we're keeping busy, we're keeping busy, so that the busyness keeps us from doing the work that ultimately, truly would give us what we're really looking for.
You're exactly right. And so then I guess it's safe to say, this is what you would tell a sister who would say, you know, I saw the red flags, but I just ignored them. We're engaged in too much. I mean, it's like we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, but we talk far more than we listen. We ignore blatant signs that God is trying to show us about, hey, you need to slow down, or you need to walk away, or you need to run, or whatever it is. Whatever it is that you need to do. If we're so busy talking and we're so busy looking for that, you know, we all, at some point in our lives, if we are real with each other, we go through a process of, how can I say it? We're looking for people to endorse our foolishness. You know, I want to feel this way. I want to believe that this is how it is, and I want you to tell me, Erica, that it's okay.
And we know who to call.
Exactly.
That will give us that.
Exactly.
And who not to call.
Yes, you're right.
Because they will check us.
Exactly. Exactly. And just for those of you who know, we're not just talking, you know, from, you know, something that we don't understand and know about. Erica and I are accountability partners, if you will. So there are things that we run by each other, whether they feel right, whether they feel good, whether it just seems so wonderful or of God. You need to have accountability with a sister that you can trust.
Yes.
That's something else that we as women won't do. We're too fake. You know, we want to pretend that everything is okay. We want to pretend that we don't necessarily have issues that need to be addressed, when ideally, if we were more transparent, ladies and gentlemen, if we would take off the masks and allow our true selves to show, we might find that God is trying to show us mirror images in our relationships with one another.
Oh, you have said something.
You know what? And with that said, this is a whole nother segment that we're moving into.
Yeah.
So with that said, if you've been blessed by anything that you've heard today, why don't you check us out? Go online to www.divazonemagazine.com, and from there you can stream this video, play it back, and check the next episode. We are so blessed that you've joined us. When we come back in the second episode, we're actually going to continue this conversation, and we have a myriad of other wonderful guests to talk to, but we're going to have some real girl talk. Why don't you join us? www.divazonemagazine.com. I'm Najia Brooks, your host. It's been a blessing. Ciao, Bellas.
You know how much I care for you. You promise to love me forever. You know I love you. You know I love you.